Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this workshop today. Just before beginning, just checking if everything is all right. Could you hear me and did you see the PowerPoint presentation on the board? If it's okay, just on the chat of Zoom, could you just give me okay or a message just to say me that everything is okay before beginning? Okay, perfect. So just go quickly. I am Matt. I am the coach of the 05 Girls Navy and assistant coach on the 04 DA group. But today, just want to make a presentation to discover the Women Youth World Cup, so the under 17 and under 20 Women Youth World Cup. All the presentation and all the data, it's important, is based on the FIFA technical report of the technical study group of FIFA who were there at the World Cup just to create and build up all this data and the video we are going to see. So just a point where before beginning, you hear that English is not my native language. So I apologize in advance if there is not a clear understanding or if I speak too slowly. But yeah, I'll try to do my best. And if there is really something, some misunderstanding, just write on the conversation or the chat application and I try to deal with that. Okay, so here are the two World Cup we are going to talk about today. So the under 17 and the under 20. You see which player, which date of birth player must have to participate to the World Cup. Just a focus on the under 20 World Cup. Really most of the squad, most of the team have player born in 98, so really older players. So there is really less team who have a younger player in the under 20 World Cup. So all World Cup, the duration of the World Cup is 3 weeks tournament. If we start to the group phase and you go to the final, and all this World Cup happen every 2 years. So here is the teams who were participating to the World Cup. So on the left with pot 1, pot 2, this is the under 17. And on the right with the picture, it's the under 20 teams. So yeah, you see with the medal, gold medal, and only 2 other who win the tournaments and who are finalists and who are 3rd place. So just for the under 20, there is 2 debutant teams. So Haiti and Netherlands, there is the 2 debutant first team participation to this World Cup. And the teams who are most attending to under 20 World Cup are USA, Germany, Brazil, and Nigeria. For the under 17, we have just 1 debutant team, it's Finland. But after the team who are most attending to the under 17 is Canada, Germany, Ghana, Korea, New Zealand, and Japan. Just for a focus on USA, for both World Cup under 20 and under 17, the USA team just stopped to the group stage. So a quick summary of what we are going to see in this presentation. So first we are going to, just to do a little quiz, just to start with something fun. And after we are going to focus on 5 big items related to the game. So you will see, depending on where on the field we are and if we have the ball or if we don't have the ball. On each items, we are going to see statistics, so with chart and data, but very simple. And after, try to connect this data and statistic with the trends who happen on the field. And here we are going to see some video. So really the aim is just to get an overview of what happened on the field in the both higher level soccer event in the world. So first we are going to start with a little quiz. Yeah, so we go in the, always go to the chart. So you will see with the red circle, this is the first 4 teams of the tournament. So you see that it's not because you have the highest ball possession that you go farthest in the tournaments. So it's something very important to highlight. And also, if we look at the under 20 chart, we see that as you get to the under 20 age group, sees that all the teams who go farthest in the competition, they have a good quality of passes and number of quality and number of passes. So it also must be careful, must be aware, because sometimes the completion, the success you have in passes is also deducted by the style of play that you have. Perhaps if you have a really direct play, perhaps you lose a lot of balls, but you can win some game also like this. So always be careful with all data that you have. So here is about the number of passes and the completion of your passes. So you see clearly that there is something like England in the under 20 and Mexico and New Zealand in the under 17 World Cup. They perhaps not have the higher number of passes or the higher success in passes, but they go farthest in the tournaments. So you must always be careful of that. But in another way, Spain and Japan, they have a really good number of passes and a higher score in terms of completion, and sometimes they go third, they go second, or they win the tournament. So we have both cases to take into account. Though if we take all that data and try to implement on the field, it gives us indication on the intent of the team when they have the ball, especially when they want to go from defensive third to middle third. And we will see in the video that we have two kind of build up from the back. We have teams who try to get quickly forward and take advantage of space and numerical superiority, especially in under 20. And on the other side, we have some teams who try to build up constructively from the back with short passes from one side to the other. And it was more, I would say, spotlight in the under 17 tournaments. So now we are going to see a little video of all the different kind of build-up from the back. And say to me if you don't see the video. Seems that the video works, that's good. So here you see it's how many teams here, it's to get quicker. So with ball break lines and find a player between lines. So it's something we saw a lot in under 20 tournaments. And especially from central defender, how they can break lines to find their midfield and after quickly get forward. Here another one. Central defender, and that kind of ball who break lines and find a player farthest on the field. It's really interesting. Another time. So it's important here where players are on the field, they are not on the same line. They try to take the depth to stay between two people. Otherwise, we have the opportunity to break lines with running with the balls like this. with the central defender. The 4 under 5 would take the ball and break lines by running with the ball, so have many confidence, have an intent, take risk. But when you succeed on that, it's clearly give advantage of your team. Here another, now we will try how you can build up constructively from the side, and especially to switch from one side to the other with short passes. So we try to draw in the opponent on one side, and with short passes, we try to go on the other side. So here, even under pressure, short passes, drawing the opponent on one side, and with short passes, we try to go on the other one. So clearly, must take the width, be careful of your first touch, create angles. There are some game principles that you need to focus on when we try to do this one. Also another one. From one side, we try to draw the opponent. We see that the space is closed. Could we try to go to see on the other side with short passes? And now we have all the space on the other side with the support of fullback to go forward. Now another kind of principle, how you can fix an opponent and create a 2v1 situation and take advantage of this numerical superiority. So something's very simple, but if we can fixing an opponent, create 2v1 in the defensive middle third, it could help us. Here the same, fixing two opponents, and after create a 2v1 here, or a 1v1. Now, how you can find the third player. So always find a player who is back to the game, and you could find after a player facing the game. So you find the third player. You see the farthest player who will play back with another one. So here we find the farthest player back to the game and play with another player facing the game. It's another way that the teams try to build up from the back. Here also, he will search for the farthest player. Farthest player, and here we could play to the third player. So here are some kind of video that show the different trends of teams, how the teams build up from the back. Now we were on the defensive middle third. Now we try to go higher on the field and see how team deals in the final thirds. So you see in both age group, I would say we find the same amount of times teams entering in the final thirds per game. So really what is important to focus is to highlight it when teams enter in the final third, in more than half a case, they get into the penalty area. So there is clearly an intent to go in the penalty area when you enter in the final third. And we will see after if there is a consequence in terms of shots and finishing. Here clearly, just to see and highlights because of the statistic of the under 17 on the left and under 20 on the right. You saw that for under 17, yeah, Spain and Japan, they are leader in the two areas. So they are really go often in the final thirds, and after they really finish many of the action in the penalty box. From New Zealand and Canada, there's clearly another perhaps style of play. They don't get often in the final thirds. You see, they are really at the end of the chart. But when they succeed to go in the final thirds, they are really successful to go in the penalty box to finish the action. In the other way, for under 20, it's quite interesting because the team who go farthest in the tournament, they are not leader in terms of going in the final thirds or penalty area. But we will see that they use just after another kind of attacking, and especially counter-attack. So perhaps they let the teams have the ball more often, and when they win it, they can go quickly in the final third. So perhaps they go less time in the final thirds, but when they get in, they were very efficient. So here are the trends that we saw on the field. So first, about final third, we see teams are getting the final thirds, and one thing they use the wide area, especially with the help of a support of fullback, or create 1v1 in the one area with a switching position or with the winger who stayed very wide. Just want to just be sorry because I think maybe just a little mistake from my side. This video will resume everything. So the use of the wide area, but also all the other kind of trends. So the counter-attack and the killer passes. So you will see in the video all these kind of trends. So sorry for that mistakes. So here we are more on the counter-attack, the use of counter-attack from the teams, especially in under 20, win the balls and use the wide area when you win the balls very quickly. And after you have 2v2 or 1v1 situation, and how could you deal with that? By using the depth, make runs, get out of vision of the defender and score. Here another counter-attack, winning the ball from a set pieces. And you see you have some player who are already on the wide area. So always have a player who stay wide, even if you don't have the possession, or as soon as you have the possession, must have someone on the wide area. Here, always use the wide area and 1v1 situation. So ability to dribble, to make the difference in 1v1. This is really crucial to have winger with the ability to win the 1v1 situation. So here the counter-attack and the help of the support of fullback will make you see all that run. And after giving the ball, I'm always concerned. I try to provide support. It's not giving the ball and wait what's happened. I'm always helping. And if I could do a good cross, here, look at the fullback. He was behind the action, and look at this run you are going to make. And here she is, coming really from behind. We fix the opponent inside to create the space wide, and the fullback take this space. And the same on the other side. And the ability to cross in the penalty box. So here, always a player stay wide, you see, and we have 1v1 situation. So used it 1v1 situation. But at the beginning, we have a player staying wide. Doesn't matter if he don't have the ball at the beginning, but he could expect to have the ball if the teammates do a good job. He is the fullback who really take the space, if she have the space, and after have the intent to dribble, to fixing an opponent. And you see, as soon as I create small feet, but I try to create an angle every time before receiving the ball. You see, she step back and after she get in. You see here, create the angle to create an opportunity of passes and after take the space. And after in the penalty box, we must be clinical. Here, transition, winning the ball. Clearly, always a player stay wide and after a 1v1 situation. And here, the same player staying wide, one ball, really good one ball, good passing in terms of pace, and after 1v1, support of fullback to create 2v1. So, yeah. The final third. So now we go all the way first in defense to we are you see 2 World Cups, so both World Cups, the under 17 and under 20, it was the lowest the competition with the lowest number of goals in the history. So there is really less goal than all the other World Cup. However, what is really highlighting and what is really spotlight in this World Cup is that the efficiency in finishing were really outstanding. Just for example, Spain, who in the for example, for this, there is 1 goal per 2 shots on target. So every 2 shots, there win 1 goal. For, we say, 6 teams in under 17 and 9 teams in under 20. So you see that perhaps we don't have many shots, but we are really efficient. We score 1 goal every 2 shots on targets. And now you see the statistic, the really big trends when you want to score goals is inside the penalty box. So you see there is clearly most of the goals are scored in the penalty box. But however, we have some new way of scoring who start to appear in World Cup. This wasn't the case before. Is shots outside the penalty box, so scoring from outside, and also heading, but heading was especially in under 20. And some things that I forgot, especially in under 17, there is lots of set pieces who are scoring. You see there is a question in the quiz. There is 29% of the goals in under 17 tournaments were scored by set pieces. So it's 1 goal per 4 goals. So it was really interesting. It was really something, the strategy used by the team. So we are starting with the set pieces. So corner and score and heading also is important. So we see many kind of strategy in terms of set pieces. It was really interesting from free kick, direct free kick strategy, how we can be efficient shooting in area who is difficult for the keeper. You see also in corner, it's really interesting in terms of individual, make several directions, not always running in one direction, make two directions, always have a look on the ball. Attack the ball, don't be static. And after the timing to jump and do the heading. Here also some really creative set pieces from this one, for example, with a player who go back, who have so space to shoot. So use the second ball, especially in corner is interesting, not the first ball, but the second ball, where a team try to clearance a corner. The second ball was really interesting sometimes to score. Also scoring with throw-in, something that happened a little time. With just one throw-in, how could we score? So must be aware when there is a throw-in for the opponent. So now we will see the shot outside the box. We saw quite a lot in under 17 and under 20. It's not obvious, but we start to see some players who have the intent to shoot from outside the box. So you see clearly you want to shoot not with many power, but we try to shoot on the side of the goal. So the accuracy is very important more than the power. So you see we try to find the side of the goals. And after a goal with heading, especially in under 20, so more and more teams try to score. Yeah, we see more and more goals with heading. There is really a few, but it starts to happen. So it seems that teams start to improve about heading and players start to improve about heading. So it's a way to score now, especially if you use the right area like we saw just before. And here a shot from outside. So you see also important of we'll see with the goalkeeper just before eyeballs sometimes. Yeah, find the sign of the ball, the sign of the goal. Sorry, always. Ability, skills, 1v1 to be find the good opportunity, the good spot to shoot. Okay, so now we will see lots of trends when we have the ball. No little trends when we don't have the ball, because there is some things that start to be obvious in these two World Cups. And it's also a reason, I think, perhaps why we do not have a very higher percentage of average possession. It's because teams stay very high on the field when they have the ball, but also when they don't have the ball. So therefore, when you win the ball, it is harder to keep the ball because you have some really quick, you have a pressure on you. So, and furthermore, when defending, teams do not hesitate to put pressure very high on the field. So this is two trends that we saw in these two World Cups. Sorry, I just stepped back. So you see, team lose the ball, but white teams are very high on the field. So it's always hard when you have the ball and you high on the field for the team who just win it to find their teammates. And after, you could have number always, when you win it back, you have number higher on the field. So I also look at the Spain team, the red team, they are very high on the field. So after, you must manage the death. And we see that the keeper now is a key player to manage this death if you stay high on the field. Always there. White team were very high on the field when they have the ball. So when you lose it, you must deal with the death. But in the other way, if you win it back, you have number higher. No high pressure. You see, I have also a clear intent, perhaps to force teams to play on the side, or you see there is here perhaps the blue player who is not confident, who is back to the game, so we decide to put pressure. He also put pressure, not seems that everybody is winning very high speed, but in the timing of the pass, we try to force the team to play somewhere. We cover space, and in the timing of the pass, we put pressure. Here, Japan, very organized. So first, we want to close the space to force to play somewhere. And during the pass coming, we put the pressure. And you see clearly the blue wants the white team to play on that side. And after, you can win the ball. So it's really put pressure with trigger and from intelligent manner, intelligent way. Now to finish with goalkeeper, because it's also a position on the field that have really some, I will say, new trends, more and more, with more and more competition, by more and more competition. And now for both competition, the use of goalkeeper as a support player to play with is increasing. So we really use the goalkeeper to play with the team, to play with the player. And especially when you see the teams, the opponent teams do is defending way by putting high press. So we need a support player to play back, also a support player to manage the death and perhaps break the first line of pressure of the teams. So you see the number of passes a goalkeeper in average do in a game. So it's a lot. And the completion was quite interesting. It's quite, the completion passes of goalkeeper is quite the same of player completion of passes. But after, you must be careful because sometimes you have more pressure or more number of player on the field sometimes when you are in final third for player. So sometimes it's more difficult to do the passes. But also, we see that keeper are really a player that we need to build up and also to perhaps break the first line. And that's interesting to say that because you saw in terms of passes, in terms of distance, that perhaps the long passes are always leading, but the short passes start to increase competition after competition. Okay, and we will see in the video in what way we could use long passes and in what situation, when do we use short passes for goalkeeper. So as we say, for the trends, keeper has a first line of attack, so to create some opportunity to get in the middle thirds or final thirds, but also an opportunity to get out of pressure when we have a high press. How do keeper covering space when we saw that team plays very high on the field? And also there is a big improvement in terms of managing high balls with the keeper during both of World Cups. So you see the Finland keeper was really obvious for that team, the Finland team, that's the keeper really participating to the build-up from the defensive third. So you see, just in the attitude, always aware of everything, his head's turned in every direction, so he took information, he don't stay close to our goals. Don't hesitate to take risk. And if the space is open, could we do a long ball in that space? We have also the opportunity to throw in. So quickly, if I saw that the opponent team is unbalanced because they do an attack, could I play quick with the throw in and I have the space? It's also something interesting. The same here, the team is unbalanced. Could I see, just with a throw in quickly, use the space that the opponent team have? We have lot of kinds of that pass. So for the keeper to play with his fullback with long ball. For sure, it depends on the situation. If we don't have a high pressure, but if we have the opportunity to play long with our fullbacks in terms of build-ups and create 2v1 on the side in wide area. So you see, we draw in the opponent central, and after quality of long ball to play with your fullbacks. Pass in one touch. So keeper must see the opportunity. Could we see the opportunity to play in one touch? Now you see covering the space. So keeper stay high on the field. Do not hesitate to quickly react to stop the attack. And go for high balls. Yeah, so with the opposite hand, make a save, manage this ice ball. There is really a good improvement in all the teams in terms of deal with high ball from keeper. You know, the same opposite hand. The positioning to reduce the angle. So yeah, keeper is now really part of the team. So when we have some games, tactical talking or communication between the teams, yeah, try always to have your players involved, because you see, as you go in the higher level, we really use the keeper as an 11 player. So we're coming to the end of this presentation. So hope it was interesting and you have information, lots of information. So what's important to say, if you want to have more information and see more videos, do not hesitate to download the technical report from the FIFA Technical Study Group. It's really interesting. You have a PDF with lots of information, analysis, trends, and data. And you have also, when you download this report, inside the report, some link to see all the clips that I just show you. So really do not hesitate. It's really a good resources. So thank you for your attention, and especially in the situation we live actually. Take care of you and your family. Have a good day.